Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to make these amazing cheesy mini meatloaf. I'm making these with ground turkey. Why? Because turkey was cheaper than the beef or the meatloaf mix. And I'm starting with 2 pounds of ground turkey. And turkey's leaner, so it's better for you. And we're putting cheese in here, so maybe go with the leaner, less fatty meat to make up for the fact that you're putting cheese in there. But anyway, so I'm starting with 2 pounds of turkey that I took out of the freezer yesterday to defrost. And you can make these meatloaves ahead of time and have them in the fridge. And then on a weeknight, you just pop them out of the fridge, put them in the oven. You can make these ahead of time. So we're going to start with 2 tablespoons of butter. Okay. So the butter's melted. So I'm going to put the onions in there. And this is 1 cup of chopped onion. And I'm going to put the garlic in there. Normally, I would use a tablespoon of fresh garlic, but I don't have any. So I'm just using garlic powder. But anyway, you want to soften the onions. So just let them soften for a little bit while you start getting the rest of the ingredients together. Okay, so now that this is cooled, I'm going to put it in here. You want this to be somewhat cooled before you put this in here because you're going to be mixing this and you don't want the eggs to scramble. Okay, now add the rest of the ingredients. 2 eggs, lightly beaten. These are large eggs. We have half a cup of milk. This is skim. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, however you say it. 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. I didn't have Italian seasoning, so I just sprinkled oregano, basil, and thyme until I had 2 tablespoons of that mix. I didn't have rosemary either. So, but if you have Italian seasoning, use 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. And it's meatloaf. I mean, meatloaf is very forgiving. Then we're going to put 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. This is pink Himalayan because it's what I had. And then you're going to put 1.5 cups of crushed crackers. You can use Ritz, you can use saltines, Keebler Clubhouse crackers. These happen to be saltines. Okay, now get in there with your hands and mix up the meatloaf. You don't want to overmix it, but you want to make sure that everything is well incorporated. And that's it. Voila. Now we're going to separate this and make the meatloaves. You also want 8 cubes of cheese because you're going to put that in the center of each meatloaf. Okay, so this recipe makes 8 mini meatloaves. So you're going to take your meatloaf mix, divide it in 4, and then take each one of those 4 and divide it in 2. And what you want to do is make like a massive meatball and then flatten it out in your hands, because then you're going to take the piece of cheese, put it in the middle, and you're going to fold the cheese all around the meatloaf. So you're going to close this up. Make sure you close the edges really good because you don't want the cheese to leak out. So just press it and just press it all around. And one thing that's good about these is that you can meal prep these days ahead and just put them in the fridge nicely covered in an airtight container, and then just put them in the oven the day that you want to make them. So if you want to meal prep on the weekends, put them in an airtight container in the fridge. And then the day that you want to cook them during the week when you're super busy and you don't have time to be doing all this, just put them on a baking sheet with parchment paper that's greased and just pop them in the oven at 350 for an hour. And while those are cooking, you could be getting changed after work, doing whatever you do with the kids, helping them with homework, all the things that us busy working moms do on weeknights. You could be doing while these are cooking in the oven because you already meal prepped and had them ready. And they're super easy to make. And it's a meal where you don't have to cook a different meal for the kids and a different meal for the adults, because the adults and the kids like this. And if you want to make it lower calorie, you can use part skim mozzarella in the middle. Or you can leave the cheese out of the center completely, because even though these are made with turkey, because of all the other things we put in the mix, these are so juicy, so fluffy, and so tender, you don't even need the cheese. The cheese is like a bonus surprise in the middle. And this is a cost-effective meal because ground turkey is not expensive, and You can make these on a Sunday, put them in the fridge already cooked, and this can be a meal on the go during the week. My husband already said if there's any left over, which there will be, he's going to get a roll and put it on a roll and take it to lunch for work and eat it room temperature. So this is something you can make ahead, and it'll be a quick grab-and-go meal during the week. If you're running to sports with the kids, make them a meatloaf sandwich. It's already cooked. Perfect. So many things you can do with these. So many reasons why it's a great meal. Okay, this is the last one. So I'm going to fold this up, make it into a big, big meatball. Make sure the seams are all nice and squished together. And that's it. We're done. So now you want to get a big baking sheet. You want to put parchment paper on it, and you want to grease it with a little bit of oil. And you put them right on there. Okay, I'm going to mix the glaze for the top. And to do that, you have
I think almond butter. Maybe.
half a cup of ketchup.
You ever tried chocolate milk?
2 teaspoons of yellow mustard.
I think it's just like onion peel.
2 teaspoons of brown sugar.
Like when you're born, it just like get.
Okay, so you're just going to give the sugar, mustard, and ketchup a nice mix until it's well blended.
I know, but it's gonna look so cool.
Grab a brush, and you're going to baste each meatloaf with the mixture. I forgot to preheat my oven. Okay, preheat the oven to 350, and then you're going to put the glaze on each meatloaf. And if you want to make this lower calorie, again, you can skip the ketchup. Because the meatloaf is so juicy, tender, fluffy, and delicious. You don't need this, but it's just an extra layer of flavor right on top. $350, 1 hour. Guys, so these just came out of the oven. Clearly, you could see the ones that I did in the beginning where I took my time and I made sure the seams were closed. And then you could see the ones where I kind of rushed to hurry up and the cheese oozed out like a little meatloaf volcano. Nice. That's okay because that cheese is still going to be good. So these are done and I'm going to serve them up. Okay, guys, dinner is served. We have the cheesy stuffed mini meatloaves stuffed with Colby Jack cheese. We have leftover noodles from London Broil Night. We have leftover garlic bread from 2 nights ago when my husband made meatball parm. And if you watch my videos at all, you know I'm a huge fan of leftovers because I use them to complete different meals. I use them to make new meals, make new recipes, and just... Guys, these are really so good. You really need to try them. And my husband's already talking about taking this between 2 pieces of bread and having a sandwich for lunch. Cook once, eat twice, right? Anyway, bon appetit. I really hope you give these a try. They are so, so yummy good. Thanks for watching.